In a small village in Nigeria, a young boy named Amos spent his days listening to the stories of the elders. His grandmother told tales of mighty warriors, cunning tricksters, and the spirits that walked among men. Amos loved these stories, and he dreamed of sharing them with the world. But in his time, books were rare in his village, and only a few people could read and write. One day, Amos's father, a teacher at the local school, brought home a worn-out English book. Amos read every word, amazed at the power of writing. From that moment, he knew that he wanted to write a book that would tell the world about his people and their traditions. As Amos grew, he moved to the city for higher education. He studied literature and spent his free time writing. Inspired by the old stories and the struggles of his people under colonial rule, he began to write a novel. He filled his pages with the beauty of his land, the wisdom of his ancestors, and the challenges of a changing Nigeria. His friends and professors read his work and encouraged him. "This is a story the world must read," one of his teachers told him. But Amos faced a great challenge. No Nigerian writer had ever published a book that reached beyond Africa. Publishers in his country were few, and European publishers were not interested in African stories. One day, Amos heard that a foreign publisher was visiting Lagos. He gathered his courage and traveled to the big city, carrying his manuscript with him. When he arrived at the publisher's office, he was nervous. "Will they laugh at my story?" he wondered. But the publisher was intrigued. "This is something new," the man said. "We will publish your book. However, there was a condition. You must rewrite parts of it in a way that Western readers will understand," the publisher said. Amos hesitated. He did not want to change the soul of his story, but he also knew this was a rare opportunity. He spent months revising the book while keeping its heart true to his people's experiences. Finally, the book was published. Its title was The Palm Wine Drinker. To Amos's amazement, people all over the world read and praised it. Literary critics called it a masterpiece from Africa. Schools in England and America began to teach it, and newspapers wrote about the young Nigerian writer who had captured the voice of his land. In Nigeria, Amos became a hero. Young writers saw his success and believed they too could share their stories with the world. The elders in his village were proud, saying, "He has carried our voices across the seas." Years passed, and Amos continued to write. His success paved the way for more Nigerian authors to publish internationally. His story proved that African voices mattered in world literature. His book was translated into many languages, and long after he was gone, people still read The Palm Wine Drinker. And so, the boy who once listened to stories under the moonlight had become a storyteller for the world, ensuring that the history, struggles, and dreams of his people would never be forgotten.